Well, good morning, my friends. I got a delivery first thing in this morning, and this is a belated birthday present for me because I was traveling so much. I wasn't home, so it arrived today. Let me show you what it is. What an unbelievable wrapping job. Look at that bow and the roses and everything. Wow. That's what was inside the package. Yep, check that out. Jaw with Space Invaders behind him, which is his middle name anyway. Jaw, that's you! Dude, that's you! That is you, my friend! I love it. I love it! That painting looks exactly like you. Exactly! Not exactly like what you look like at this moment when you're squinting at me, but normally. And this one? Oh, interesting. I will read it. Robert, you are ready to rock, aren't you? You're ready to fight. Why am I getting thrown into this? First thing in the morning. Get him, Jaw! The tails. They bite each other's faces. Alright, we are in the vehicle and we are heading down to Firestone Boulevard. I have seen this place before, but I've never actually been there, and it's something I've always wanted to vlog. I'm kind of surprised I haven't done it by now. It's one of those things that I always figured, hey, I'll be down in that area for some reason, and I just haven't been down in Downey for so long that today I said, I want to go check this out. I love this movie that it's attached to, and I want to go see it, so let's go. The underbelly of LA, downtown LA. Alright, we have battled the traffic and we have finally made it to the Firestone exit. I'm pretty excited. I love this movie. Love this movie. No spoilers, but it's that golfing stuff. Oh yes, that golfing stuff. Yes, my friends, we are at Golfin' Stuff, Family Fun Center. I'm hoping that sounds familiar to you. If you're a fan of the 80s, you have to know what this is. This is Daniel and Allie's date from The Karate Kid, 1984. Kind of cool, you can still see some of the chains that you see in the movie when Mrs. LaRusso's car pulls up and drops the kids off right over here. You can see it's changed quite a bit. Now back there where all those power lines and everything are, that whole power facility, that's where the big water slide was that Daniel's eyeballing when they first pull up. Now the reason this was a big deal to me is not only because I'm a huge Karate Kid fan, and in fact it's one of the earliest movies that I ever remember seeing. It's like, if there are 5 movies I remember seeing when I was a kid, it was like Revenge of the Nerds, Karate Kid, Pirates of Penzance, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know even for like a 4 or 5 year old, those are the kind of movies I was watching, but this was special because this scene in this movie, this was the first thing that I ever remember figuring out what a date was. And for me, this was the outline of what you did on a date. And with all of my friends in high school, they had the same opinion. Like when you started dating girls, you started like looking for like, hey, what's the best miniature golf course that has like games and fun centers and all that stuff. So watching this scene when they're here having that date, that I always love that, because to me that's what I always thought dating was as a kid. Now you can see they have this yellow barrier up in front of all the parking, but originally when they filmed the movie, this is where, like I said, this is where the car pulls up and Allie and Daniel get out and they hop out, and you kind of get a shot of Daniel and Allie looking up at the water slide that's over here. And that's when she tells him, we'll do that next time. And he's like, why next time? And she's like, because we have to have bathing suits. And then they start walking into the golf and stuff facility over here, and that is the same entrance and the same archway. So we see him walking towards this direction, and that party room archway sign was still there. And they go in and have a blast. They are playing air hockey and foosball, and they're playing miniature golf, which the course is still over there. They're on the bumper cars. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that amazing to see this entrance? Because we see this, a really good shot of this actually, at the end of this scene. It's like a 2 or 3 minute scene of them on their date here. But when they're coming out, that's when the dude pulls up in the nice fancy car here and goes, hey, Allie. And she's like, oh, is this your new car? And he goes, yeah, hop in. You want to go for a ride? And she thinks about it for a second. She's like, no, some other time. That's fine. And then he drives off, and then the car with the Cobra Kais and everybody pulls up, and they're like, hey, come on, we'll give you a ride if that's okay with Mrs. LaRusso. And then they drive off, and then Daniel's mom pulls up here, you know, right along this way, and whoops, sorry, right over here. And that's when Daniel's like, you can tell he's in a sour mood. He goes around to the passenger side, which would have been, the car's parked going this way, so he opens up the passenger side door over here for her and says, you know, if you wanted to go, you could go. And she's like, if I wanted to go, I would have went, you know. Kind of a bad ending to the date, but too bad that big water slide isn't there. That is a shame. Such a cool vision in the movie. But they do use all the games and everything at this facility, including the memorable scene of them taking the photo in the photo booth and go for the interlocking grip, holding hands. So let's go in and check it out a little bit. Here we can see a little bit of the course. Now what's interesting is if you look around on YouTube, you can find that before they actually filmed the movie, they did kind of a dry run filming, and they went to all the locations and kind of did a home movie version of what the movie was gonna look like. And all of the shots that they did here that you can find, they ended up using those same angles and same type of things for the movie. So when you see Daniel and Allie out here, and he's putting and she's wrapped around the back of him, like holding onto the club as well, that was all part of that pre-planning stage, so it's kind of cool. Also, found out recently that Mr. Miyagi was not always going to be in this movie. In fact, they almost were adamant about him not being in the movie. Talk about that. That's so cool. I mean, it's what, 35 years later, and people still care about this movie, and this is still the course from the date. So I just came into the building here in the eatery part, and look what's here. Karate Kid poster is on the wall, as it should be. And then check this out, 35th anniversary celebration poster. How cool is that? Nice to know they still care. See, there they are playing hockey, a little hockey game, and then there they are, as I was mentioning, where she's wrapped around the back of him. And then here's when they're out in front of that arcade sign. Also, it said arcade back then, not party zone, so that has changed. And then here's the little bumper car, bumper boat kind of stuff here. Here's some of the arcade games. Can you only imagine? Can you only imagine? Too bad I don't see the hockey foosball anymore. That has to be the original one. That has to be. Look how worn out it is at the ends, and it says out of service. So I'm guessing it's probably been out of service for quite a while. And they have these more updated ones here anyway, so yeah, that's got to be the one that they're playing in the movie. So yeah, Mr. Miyagi was not, well, it's originally who the director wanted, but the producer was Jerry Weintraub, and he said, no way. No way, we're not going with Pat Morita. I want a real actor. I'm not dealing with a comedian. This is a dramatic movie. What a cool course, huh? So now they have an even bigger arcade, so if Daniel and Allie came now, they'd have a million things to choose from. do have some of the old classics though. What kind of message are we sending when we have beer pong games? So let me tell you the deal with how Pat Morita ended up getting in the movie. They didn't want to see him because they wanted real actors, not comedians, and he wasn't even living in the States. He was in Hawaii actually at the time when they were first starting this, so it's not like he was a big actor that they were you know, writing this for. Daniel LaRusso, Ralph Macchio, you know, he was immediately cast for this, but what ended up happening was they just kept seeing people and saying, no, 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 this guy's not gonna work, this guy's not gonna work. Well, Pat Morita was living in Hawaii, and he was like kind of just barely getting by as a stand-up comic, doing hosting gigs and picking up shows here and there for corporate events. And he came back over to California just in the hopes that something would give. And so he went to visit his agent, and his agent said, you know what, I have something for you. Because they had been looking for so long for a Mr. Miyagi, they couldn't find one, that finally the director said, you know what, I don't care what Jerry Weintraub says, I'm gonna look and see everybody. I'm putting everybody on camera that could possibly do this role. I don't care if he says no or not. So he brought Pat Morita in, and Pat Morita said, well, when I was in Hawaii, I'd kind of given up, you know, a little bit, and let my hair grow, quit shaving, and so I had this kind of like hippie-ish look to me. And when I came in and I read for it, I did a real slow talking voice like this, where normally that wasn't his voice, and he said that they liked him right away. They put him through like 5 different tests on camera, doing different scenes, doing, you know, paired up with different people, doing them in costume, various things like that. But in the end, he did get the role, which is awesome because, like I said, kind of early on, the director had thought about wanting to see him, and Jerry Weintraub was like, nope, no way, no way. Well, in the end, Jerry Weintraub finally told Pat Morita, he said, you know, you were almost my biggest mistake. You not being Mr. Miyagi was almost the biggest mistake I ever made. And I think he's right. That was a perfect choice for Mr. Miyagi. Even though it was just kind of supposed to be just a goofy little movie, like I said, it's stuck around for 35 years being a staple. In fact, as of like a year ago, Netflix brought it back, and there's now a modern day version of Karate Kid with Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence picking up the story as adults. But when I saw this as a kid, I mean, when you even thought about first starting to date, everything was based around what Daniel and Allie did. And as my one friend used to say, how you worked your way into the interlocking grip by the end of the date, the holding the hands. I looked around, I did not see a photo booth in there. Let's go take a look again, because I think for golf and stuff, you have to have a photo booth. That's where they took their photos together. And in fact, that was also one of the scenes that, if you go find that early footage of the pre-filming, the pre-production of this, you can find where they were actually inside there doing that same photo in the photo booth. And yeah, it's cool. Okay, so they do have a photo booth. The downside to it is that the way they have it set up, you can't take it the same way they did, where they go in the other, they would have actually went in the other side. They would have went in from this side, because the shot that we get is, you can see this seat right there and them holding hands right down here. But it's out of order, so that's even worse. Now let's go take a look at the bumper boats and the Indy racers. Yeah, so here's where our water slide would have been. That thing did look awesome. There's another arcade golf sign. And let's check out the bumper boats over here. Check it out, there's the bumper boats that we see them riding in the movie. And I'm looking over at the Indy cars, I don't see anybody using the Indy car track at all. Yep. Sadly, nobody is out here riding. I think it's available to be used, just nobody is out here doing it. I love the fact that this is still around, especially because of the movie. And this guy definitely would not have been here then. So they did film all of the scenes here. They didn't just get the exteriors or anything like that. They did film all the scenes for 1984's Karate Kid. at this park. However, in the YouTube red version they just brought back, they didn't, I believe, since most of the filming for that production was done in Atlanta, they used a fun center like this in Atlanta for those. Not everything can stay the same, but it's really cool to see how much of this is still the same as it was when they filmed here. Right there's where this whole thing begins. Mrs. LaRusso's jalopy station wagon. All right, let's head out of Downey. Back to Hollywood. All right, my friends, we are gonna call it a day. I hope you guys enjoyed our little field trip out to golf and stuff. That is such an awesome movie, even to this day. I don't know, maybe it's because I was a kid when it came out, but nothing that they've tried to do like it has lived up to the Karate Kid, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's just my opinion, but hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to thank Robbie Fullerton and Juan for becoming my newest Patreons, and also thank Janet Matthews and Jenna Dubner for making contributions to my channel. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Until then, goodbye.